Today we have an exciting video for you all, as I had the honour to interview the executive producer of Jurassic World Chaos Theory. I asked him some fun questions about Season 3, while also asking some of your questions too. And we may have spoken just a little bit about what to expect for Season 4 of the show if it were to come about. So make sure you're subscribed and got your snacks ready for a long and enjoyable interview with Scott Kreamer. Well, thank you so much, firstly, I've got to say, for Season 3 of the show. It's fantastic. Personally, I think it's my favourite out of both animated series. And I've seen so many fans absolutely adore it. And I think it's down to a big reason, and that's coinciding with Jurassic World Dominion. So, the first question I want to ask you, I think is very important. How do you come up with all of these Easter eggs and how you intertwine the stories together and figure out what elements you want to show in Season 3?
Yeah, well, that's the fun of it, you know. It's the whole puzzle of it. It's like it harkened back to Season 1 of Camp Cretaceous when we were figuring out where our kids could be and where the Indominus Rex was on Isla Nublar. So, you know, we Bethany Armstrong Johnson, our head writer, and our writers, and I and Aaron and just everyone, you just sort of, I think in another interview I hearkened it to, it's like you've got this jigsaw puzzle with pieces missing, and we're over here handcrafting pieces that will go in the different spots. So, you know, you want it to feel earned. You want it to feel, you don't want it to break canon, obviously, if at all possible. So it's just, you know, it's a lot of watching Dominion and what makes sense for our characters and what would be cool to see.
I was going to ask, how much of Dominion did you watch? Like, can you quote the movie line for line now? Is that how much you watched?
No, I mean, like early days, you know, even when we were first developing, we saw an early cut that was different than what's in the film. Didn't even have that opening sequence where they're boosting, they go to the farm to boost that, I think it was an Isutoceratops. But anyway, we saw a lot of early cuts with the writers and the show leadership. And then we finally got to see it. So, and then, when we were really breaking Season 3, then we were pretty much Zach Sten said once, like we were watching Jurassic World, like the Zapruder film for Camp Cretaceous, and this we spent a lot of time with Dominion coming up with the twists and turns of this season.
So, what was it about Serena Santos that you realized there's a bigger story here to her character?
Yeah, you know, that was from the first time we saw the early cut. You know, Deachin jumps off the screen, and it's one of those things where you go back and it's like, wow, she really wasn't in it that long. And what can we do? And then once we stumbled upon the idea of, well, the last time you see her in Dominion, Barry's got her at gunpoint, and you assume she gets arrested, but you don't see it. And that sort of broke open the whole thing for us as far as, well, what could happen, you know? And it's like anything else in a writer's room. You're just talking and figuring stuff out and pitching ideas. And again, once we got to that, it's like the whole thing sort of opened up for us.
Honestly, she was one of my favorite characters in the movie, and I just knew there was more to her because, you know, what happened last time she mentioned in the movie, I presume is explained. So that's very, very nicely done. And I think, I think, I'm not sure if it was intentional based off your recent comments just now, but when she was held at gunpoint later in the movie, one of the workers at Biosyn said that they just got off the call from Santos whilst Kayla and Claire and Owen were on the plane. So I thought maybe she actually did escape off screen, and then that's why I absolutely love how Chaos Theory went with that story. Very small detail, but they went with it.
You know, the devil's in the details, and like you said, the comment she made with Dodson about, I didn't like how things went before. You know, look, me insisting on having Ghost shaking water off when the raptor appears from that alleyway. You know, it's whatever little details you can put in. And, you know, the other hard part is not everybody who's watching the show has seen Dominion. So there's some stuff that people may get left behind a little bit, but you just hope you have enough momentum and enough story and action and stuff so people are just kind of swept up in the ride.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said at the start, I love Dominion personally. I know there's people who have their own issues with it, but did you know that season 3 was going to be such a fan favorite? It's been out for a week now, and I think I have not seen a single person say much wrong with season 3. They're loving it.
I don't know. It's like this is me. Every season that comes out, I'm like fretting it and walking the floors at night going, oh, they're going to hate this. No, I don't think I did expect it to be as well received. You hope, it's a lot of people working so hard. And so you hope that people like it. And it's been incredibly gratifying that people do.
One thing that people did like was the Pyroraptor, and it's a very interesting creature because it wasn't in Dominion for so long, yet there's a big fan base for it. And the way that you kind of constructed it into Chaos Theory, you added a lot of horror elements, which I really, really, really liked, actually. So what was the idea behind adding the Pyroraptor in?
Well, there's a few things. One, much like Soyona Santos, when you watch Dominion, that's really a cool scene. And it's sort of that thing that backwards engineering looks like, well, not really in the valley, sort of on this, by the dam with the ice lake. So it's like, is there a story to be told there? And then the other thing is we've always wanted to dig into a feathered dinosaur. But, we have to stay with what's established in the films. And also it's very difficult for a TV show to do something with the feathers and all that. So it's like, we threw it all in on the Pyroraptor. Yeah. And, and again, like I said, it comes down to what's something that's cool that you want to see on screen. And the Pyroraptor definitely was that.
For sure. I was going to actually ask you about the feathers, because I've heard animation teams say it's a really big struggle to animate feathers on animals. So what was it like animating with feathers for the Pyroraptor?
Yeah, well, luckily there's a lot of people a lot smarter than me who figure that stuff out. So, JP Balmain and then Dan Godinez and just a whole host of people, Chris Sears, who did the character design. It's like, it's super difficult. And it's like, you have to, some of the texture has to be sculpted, and you can only have a certain amount of feathers. Our internal hub team, it's just a lot of people trying to figure this thing out. It feels like most of our jobs here is problem solving. And just then everybody sort of came together with something that it basically looks so much better than they said it was going to look. They said, okay, we're going to try this and we'll see. And then everybody just upped their game. And I think it turned out really cool.
Yeah, I was blown away. Just the way that the cameras got so close to the Pyroraptor, and you can see nearly every detail with it, the ridges in the skin, the feathers in the wind, everything about it was amazing. And but it comes to character design, as you mentioned, and I want to talk about the Raptor handler a little bit more. What was was there any specific reason why you kept her silent until the very last moments?
Originally we had Sumali, who does the voice of the handler. There were more kind of sounds in season 1 and everything. And as Aaron and I got into the sound mix, we just kept pulling them out. It just made her so much more creepy. And so by the end of season 1, it's like, okay, she's just going to be silent. And we had her whisper to Professor Desai at the beginning. But, at the end of the day, it's like, we just sort of landed on this idea is she doesn't think enough of humans to bother to talk, because she just loves her babies. And then only when her children are in danger, does she deem it important enough to say something. And so that's just where we landed and what we decided to run with.
Well, I think it adds a lot to her character because we don't really get too much of a backstory. I was just wondering, is there any kind of backstory to her? Like, did you try to explore that?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ideas around, and I know people wanted to hear like, oh, is she a robot? Is she part dinosaur? Is all these things,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's one of those things where we went down the road of explaining it a little more, and then in the end, we just liked it being more mysterious, and
Right.
she got a lot more humanity in season 3 than season 1. And we decided just to let it be to everyone can interpret it how they want.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And again, I said it adds to her character. You're always wondering these type of things. But one thing that I've seen loads of people ask, this is more of a fan favorite question. Was there any point in time where you wanted to explore Fallen Kingdom's timeline? Because in Camp Cretaceous, it was more or less Jurassic World. Chaos Theory is more or less Jurassic World Dominion. So we're just wondering, was there anything in Fallen Kingdom? Because I believe there was a reference at the end of season 5 of Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, we feel like we kind of did that, when we did the what was it at the end of season? I can't. It's all blends together. But like season 3, when they saw the Mosasaurus take down the guy in the yellow jacket, and then at the end of season 5, when Brooklyn is talking about the escaped dinosaurs from the Lockwood estate, and so it felt like that was sort of okay. Well, that's where we are going to end off, and then. I always had the idea when first had this idea for Chaos Theory is just flashing forward and doing a little bit more of telling the story about what it's like with people coexisting with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There's a million. There's a million stories to tell, but this is where we ended up.
Okay, good. Because again, as a fan of Jurassic World Dominion, I saw so many stories there, and I think Chaos Theory did that perfectly. So I want to ask, how does it feel to create a show that's so successful for Jurassic fans? Because we have wanted something like this for years, and it's so nice to see it come to fruition.
It means the world. And not only to be a part of that, because I'm a fan too. I was the guy who saw Jurassic Park in the theater and then snuck across into another theater and watched it again. So, and I love the book, and so it's amazing, and I love that the folks, people enjoy it, and what makes it even more special is the people I get to make the shows with, because they're all fans too, and they're all good people who just work their butts off, and it's not been easy along the way, as there's a lot of eyeballs on this, a lot of people high up. Who I answer to, and at the end of the day, you don't want to screw it up for the fans, and so for people to enjoy the show, and it makes all the hard work that all these wonderful people I work with put in, it makes it that much more gratifying. So yeah, it's rare that you get a situation where you love the people you work with, you're proud of the product, and then a bunch of people watch it and like it. It doesn't happen that often. So yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of this thing.
Okay, good. I've got 2 final questions.
Sure.
Hopefully, they should be fun questions. But okay. I know season 4 hasn't been confirmed, but judging by the ending of season 3, is there any way you could vaguely describe a possible season 4 in 3 words?
Oh gosh, I don't know about 3 words, but
or many more. That's fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see, if we get to do more, you can see all roads seem to be leading to Biosyn Valley. Right. That's more than 3 words.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
But, where we are in the timeline, it's sort of, we are definitely heading into Act 3 of Dominion at Biosyn Valley. And so that I would say, if we get to do more, I would look that way.
Right. So it's like you split Dominion way more than 3. Yeah. Thank you. So you split Dominion in 2. We're kind of entering the second part of the movie in that kind of time frame.
Yeah.
Right.
that is that's what I would say people can look toward.
Right. Okay. Now the last question. It's going to be controversial, but you have to give an answer.
Sure.
Baby Bumpy or Baby Smoothie?
Yeah, boy, I've given this some thought too. I just love Smoothie so much.
I'm with you. Yeah.
And Baby Bumpy was great, but we aged her up quick, and with how she went from baby to toddler Bumpy pretty quick, and we definitely wanted to keep Smoothie a little as long as we could. So, and plus, the cat ears that Marcelo Bonifacio designed are just top notch. And also, it's like we've learned so much, just the animation, there are partners at CGCG as well as our animation team with Dan and Ryan and Haley and Jose. There's something about Baby Smoothie that, respect to Bumpy, but I'm sure Bumpy would agree too.
Yeah. So Smoothie is more like a favorite amongst the crew.
The Smoothie is a huge favorite amongst the crew. There's many pictures of Smoothie all over the production office, and our prod team. There's no one better at making memes, so there's a new Smoothie meme every day. So yeah, I gotta go with Smoothie, but Bumpy will always have a special place in my heart.
Right. Well, a lot of these questions were asked by the fans and everything. But one thing I've been told many times is to, on behalf of the fans, say thank you for creating season 1, 2, and 3 of Chaos Theory, Camp Cretaceous, and whatever else the future might hold. But yeah, so a big thank you from the community.
Well, please, and a big thank you to the fans from all of us, because y'all are the reason we do this. So thank you.
And thank you for your time today for the interview. It's been great. Thank you.
You bet. Good to talk to you.
And you. Hey, did you enjoy the video? Well, why not leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic content? I appreciate every single one of you for reaching this point into the video and supporting me this far. If you wish to support me even further, then feel free to head on down to the description where you can find links to donate, my Patreon, and you can also press that join button to become a member here on YouTube and gain access to some awesome emojis. A massive thank you to all of the YouTube members for this month, as well as the amazing fans over on Patreon too. Your extra bit of support really goes a long way. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day.